We're here in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest with Matt Woods from London. Welcome.
Hello.
Your new track, Ain't No Use, is number 2 on Hype Machine. Thank you so much for playing our showcase tonight. How does it feel to be back after a bit of a hiatus?
It's so good, man. It's been it's really frustrating because I spend most of my time making music, and I get that you need to sort of get it right and get the timing right, or at least that's what I'm told. But from my perspective, I just want to be putting stuff out. So the minute I'm sort of allowed to put stuff out, it's a good moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your new single, Ain't No Use. Talk about where you're at musically. And it seems like a little bit more upbeat, some electronics in there.
Yeah. So I'm definitely not trying to completely shift. I sort of would love to create a world where a track like Impression can live with a track like Ain't No Use on the same album, and it wouldn't be bizarre. But I did feel, and I've been feeling a need to try and add something upbeat, because I can write slow, mellow, depressing songs all day long, but actually trying to hit that button where it's upbeat but didn't feel like a Mumford & Sons track was really hard. I genuinely sort of found it really hard to find something that felt like it fit with what I'm trying to do. The minute Ain't No Use only got made a couple of months ago, but the minute I made it, I want to put this out. I got my way. So.
Well, it shows good range for your style. It's not a bad thing. It's riding at number 2 on Hype Machine, so it's getting your name out there.
Like, not something that I would have expected to achieve ever, or at least, especially not now. That's the cool thing about Hype Machine, though, is that once it's out there, it's sort of out of your hands, and then if people actually do react well to it, then wicked.
Speaking of Hype Machine, have you made it to Hype Hotel while you're here?
No, I haven't really made it anywhere.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if
same.
I've seen a single show. I've only been here I've only been here today, and I've had 2 shows. So and the rest of that story would be really boring. It's just a lot of carrying gear around Austin and not finding anyone to look after it. But
that's the South Bay
experience. It's mostly focusing on the shows today. I think after this, Aurora's playing somewhere. I'd quite like to see that. Hon's playing tonight. There's a few shows. Yeah, there's definitely a few shows I want to catch.
Have you ever done a few shows in a day before? Is this a new experience for you?
No, I don't think so. I've never really thought about it.
Yeah.
I guess that is a new experience. Yeah.
It's definitely a whole new level.
It's
a whole
good.
Nother level.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think whenever I'm doing a band show as opposed to a solo show, they hate me, but I want to run the set in the morning, lunchtime, before we get up there, because I think once you've had that one run through, where everyone's a little bit conscious of what they're doing, this is if you're not on tour and you're doing it every day, then that second time, then you sort of get to let loose a bit more, and you don't have to think about it as much. So I definitely felt like that happened more on that
tonight.
Set. We also then, because we were letting loose, sort of forgot ourselves a bit at times, but there was much more energy in the room because of it.
Which can be a positive. You played our showcase tonight here at We Found New Music at the Speakeasy, and we really do appreciate it. But you let loose for a little bit and just kind of, you improv a little bit, but it was great.
Yeah. That's always been. I've been touring the States solo, and I've found that every gig that I've done, I've been sort of letting myself explore a little bit more. It's always it's a scary but very exhilarating thing to
it's great.
not
The
know
more
what's going to come out. It's a good vibe. It's nice.
The more you get comfortable with that, the more the live show really begins to take a new turn.
I think so. Yeah. I think you sort of owe it to if you're just going and doing the exact same show each time.
Right.
Then it's going to become quite stale, and you sort of owe it to people to try and create at least a few moments of real chemistry and electricity
Exactly.
You know.
So you're touring currently with Kevin Garrett. We're big supporters of Kevin. We've done some sessions with him. Chicago down to Texas. How's that been going?
Dude, apart from the fact he is the loveliest guy, he's way more talented than I was even expecting. I got to see his set of like every day on the road, and it never got boring. And yeah, it's just really great. It's really nice to see, because I think it's quite a rare thing when you have I'm just gonna spend the rest of the time talking about Kevin Garrett. It's all good. I think it's really rare, like when you see someone who's genuinely really comfortable, like seems to know exactly what they're doing, and he's just doing it really well. And like when you see someone up there just doing that, it's inspiring, and also like it's quite fulfilling. He's just wicked. I really believe he'll do really well.
It just feels so natural to just be watching him up there and just. And I feel the same way about you on stage.
Thanks, man.
You're just up there doing. You're owning that stage. It's really awesome.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool. Thank you.
So you're working with Brit Award-winning producer Charlie Andrew on your new material.
I am. Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Who told you that?
He's worked with Alt J.
Yeah, he's worked with Alt J.
Sivu, who I love. So how's that going? And what are you working on?
Cool. Well, to be honest, at the moment, we're more like just talking about the idea of doing an album together, which may or may not come about. I'd like to think it will. He's a lovely dude and so talented and really like pushes you.
Yeah.
I can't see any reason why it wouldn't work out. But yeah, we're really just exploring sounds at the moment and seeing like on a bigger scale what it is that we can create. Yeah, but it's a privilege to work with the guy. He's sort of, at the moment I'm still without a label, which I have no problem with, but when it comes to trying to work with producers on that level, they really have to invest in you. At the moment, Charlie has turned around and said that like he's into it and he wants to get involved, and it sort of needs to come from him rather than me having this big company behind to sort of,
absolutely
make that shit happen.
100%. And it's so interesting these days. A lot of artists have creative control going into a label deal.
Yeah.
Because it's just another world these days. It's just as far as it's more equal these days. Just because there's so much out there and there's so much competition. To be honest. So,
yeah, dude. Yeah. I think so. I think on average, people are being made to wait more to get the record deal, which is not a bad thing, because it forces everyone to spend more time on their stuff and get their head around it. And I don't think it's a bad thing to sort of have a pretty strong sense of what you want to be when you actually when someone's investing in it. It's just like if you wanted to have a load of cafes or a load of pizza restaurants or whatever, and the first thing you should do is try and do that on your own, and then show that it's working, and then show that try and make another one, and then when you get to the point where you want to properly blow that shit up, then you get someone with a load of money to help you properly franchise it.
Yep.
I think that's how I see it. And then in the meantime, with all the teething problems, or at least for me, I feel like I'm learning pretty hard and I'm learning pretty fast, and I'm messing up all the time. But
yeah,
it's cool. It means that when I do end up with a company, it'll be with a fresh start, and I'll feel like my point of view will at least carry some weight,
Yeah, it sounds like the right approach. Just go with your gut, go with your heart, So
yeah.
What more can you say? You're gonna be heading to LA after this, doing some writing sessions.
Yeah.
How is the process of writing sessions in LA different than writing in the UK?
It's definitely different. I've only written with a couple of guys in LA so far, but you guys have different sort of stock sounds. Your beats are way sort of punchier. It's I remember the first time I sat in a room and I was like, where has that beat come from? It was the biggest thing I've ever heard in my life. But I think with all that, I'm always willing to work with different people and people outside of my comfort zone, because that's how Ain't No Use came about, really. I was working with a producer who does much more like UK urban stuff. I mean, he's also done a bit of Emily Sandé, but his main thing at the moment is like the UK urban scene, and out of it sort of came this mix of two cultures. So I'm all like, it's the same with the stuff in LA. It's definitely different. It's definitely different, but in a good way, you know. Like,
I mean, you know, traveling and trying different experiences musically can only broaden your sound and just kind of see where it's going.
Yeah,
you know?
Thank you.
So Ain't No Use is out now.
It is, yeah.
So go check it out. What's next? What's to come?
I never really know the answer to that question, but I would imagine that Ain't No Use will go with an EP. There's an EP ready to go for Ain't No Use, so it just sort of it depends on a few factors, but I imagine that EP will come out with Ain't No Use, and then I'm pretty keen to just get another one out in the summer. This seems like a year where we can start building now. It's the first time where I've genuinely noticed that I have a fan base. It's not an enormous fan base by any means, but there are a few people here and there. Every city that I played in the States, like Chicago and Kansas City and St. Louis, and then it's like people, a couple drove 5 hours from Detroit to Chicago to come see me play, and it at least makes me feel like I need to start putting music out now on a more regular basis. Absolutely. in order to keep them interested.
Well, we were so thrilled to have you tonight, and we're genuinely in love with your music, and just keep sending it over.
Oh, cheers, man.
And can't wait to hang in LA coming up here.
Yeah, man.
So
well, dude,
we'll see you again.
Genuinely, I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you.
Like, it's cool to have blogs that have your back.
Yeah.
And I genuinely feel like that with you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, you've been there from the beginning.
Yeah, we'll be continuing to support you.
That's cool.
All right, cool. Thank you, Matt. So
cheers,
Matt
man.
Wood on We Found Your Music from Austin, Texas.
Wicked.